Good day, collectors and viewers. Social Distance Warrior is back with video number 10. So today we're going to look at our favorite farm boy from our galaxy far, far away, Luke Skywalker. So Luke Skywalker was our main hero back in the original 3 Star Wars movies, episode 4, 5, and 6. A New Hope, Empire, and Jedi. Now he went from farm boy to ace pilot to hero to Jedi Knight to son that redeemed his father. He went full circle through all the 3 movies. Definitely a satisfying story arc. My favorite Jedi of all time as a result. Debuted as an action figure for Christmas 1977. They couldn't make the figures in time. They released an early bird set. Parents went out and bought an empty box for kids with the promise that they were going to get action figures early in 1978. Luke Skywalker was one of the original ones. That'll be this guy over here. Now, Luke Skywalker in all his glory. It's got his farm boy, tunic on there, blonde hair, nice brown tights. We've got a figure that's falling in the back there. Doesn't want to join us. You'll see why he fell in a second. And telescoping lightsaber, which is a really neat feature on there. So there's a little shaft on the back here, a slot with a lever that you pull back and forth. Now you have to be careful because the tip of that lightsaber is very, very fragile. Now the original release of these guys actually had a double telescoping lightsaber where you could pull the tip down even further. There was a limited release on them. They initially came out that way. Luke, Darth Vader, and Ben Kenobi did. And of course they're worth a lot of money nowadays if you can find one or even get to see one. I've never owned one myself. I only found out about them a number of years back through the internet and through publications and stuff. So that's Luke Skywalker. Now, mind you, this figure, the original one, went through, all 3 movies on card backs for Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi, and then went dormant. And the next time we'd see him would be in 1995. They re-released him as part of the Power of the Force 2, the initial launch of Luke. They came in a 4-pack, Luke, Chewbacca, Darth Vader, and Han Solo. And it didn't receive the greatest reception. People wanted new stuff, and they went and rehashed the old stuff. Now, they're a little bit different. Like Luke's lightsaber shaft is larger in there, so you can't miss out and think that you're buying the original one and be mistaken or tricked in that regard. If you know what you're looking for, you can see the difference between the 2 figures for sure. So that never got the greatest reception. So what they did is they redid the whole line. So that just initially came out, and then they made brand new sculpts of all the original heroes and main characters from Star Wars. And in 1995, we'd see Luke Skywalker. Yes, this is Luke Skywalker, and not a wrestler, and not a superhero, and not a bodybuilder. Yes, it's supposed to be farm boy Luke, even though it looks a little bit more like Arnold and Dolph Lundgren than it does like Luke Skywalker. Now, he just fell over a second ago, and you can kind of see why. Check out the size of that lightsaber. So he came with a lightsaber, and he came with this grappling gun. And the lightsaber itself the initial release was so long, it's actually about as tall, if not longer, taller than Luke Skywalker. You can see it on there. So there was a running change. So Luke, Ben, and Darth Vader came with that long lightsaber, as did X-Wing Luke, and they changed that as well to a smaller one to make it a little bit more, realistic as opposed to this exaggerated one. They're very, very beefy. The arms are beefy. The chest sticks out, muscular thighs on here. Not my favorite figure, but that was the first Luke that we got other than the original one. So it was nice to see Star Wars on store shelves again. Now, they made these deluxe sets, and Luke came with the Desert Sport Skiff as well. So he almost looks identical here, except that he has a slightly browner looks on his trousers over here and on his boots. So here's that Luke Skywalker from the Power of the Force 2 that came with the Desert Sport Skiff. That's the identical figure as the original release, just that they redid the paint job a little bit with a lighter, different color, slightly more brown color on his pants there. I'll show you a comparison if I put them side to side. You can see just off the pants, otherwise an identical figure. Belt's a little bit different and pants are different, but otherwise exactly the same. Now, I did notice that the shirt is more of a glossy white as opposed to the flat white that the original one came with. So identical figure, but nonetheless paint job slightly altered. Next time we'd see Luke Skywalker would be in 1998. They made a cinema scene where you got Luke C-3PO, and a brand new, never before released Uncle Owen. And Luke Skywalker came in that run as well, and this would be this guy here. Now they went with a more realistic Luke. They toned him down. He lost his beefiness. He stopped working out. And here he is. He's got binoculars sculpted onto his waist there. Arms are pre-posed, but definitely a more realistic look, nicer to see Luke Skywalker, more modernized, and the way he should look. Now, this figure has a little bit of trouble standing on his own because that foot there has a bend on it, like he's supposed to be standing on an angle. As a result, I have to stick him on the foot peg here. But it was a welcome brand new change for Luke Skywalker. And the next time we'd see Luke Skywalker beyond that would be part of the gunner station. And the gunner station Luke that we're getting would be this guy here. Now, this Luke Skywalker gunner stations, they had 3. One with Darth Vader, came with the TIE Advanced cockpit, and then there was Luke and Han that came with the gunner station of the Falcon. So Luke Skywalker, as you can see, a little bit different from that one that came with the purchase of the droids. He's got a Stormtrooper belt. So first time they made Farm Boy Luke with the Stormtrooper belt and what appears to be a holster. You can't put the gun in there, but that's the Stormtrooper Luke. And of course, he does have the headset on there as well. So, he's talking like, I got him. Great kid, don't get cocky. But that's the Luke Skywalker from that scene. You can reenact that. And then beyond that, the next time we'd see Luke Skywalker would be a little bit later in 1998. It's part of the freeze frame line. So freeze frame line, the figures all came with a little freeze frame. Basically a slide you can put in a projector. And we got this Luke Skywalker. Now this guy's lightsaber keeps bumping into me. And the Luke Skywalker came with a blast shield. So we can pull this off. Have a look at him underneath there. There he is, almost exactly the same figure as that one from the purchase of the droids, except he doesn't have the binoculars on here, and then he, of course, has got the proper leg. He's not leaning forward on his legs, so he can stand properly. But a welcome addition with that blast shield. If you have the big Millennium Falcon, you can keep that in there, and you can see the details on that guy as well. Nice little feature. I had an accessory on there, and a favorite of mine as well. I keep that on the Luke. And he can train inside that Falcon with a training remote with Ben Kenobi and Han Solo looking on. So that was in 1998 as well. Let's see if we can get him to stand. There we go. So next time we see Luke Skywalker is being 1999 with the flashback line. Now, there was a limited flashback line that came with figures just before Episode 1 came out. It would show you the character you have and then whoever it relates to in the next movie in Episode 1. So not in the next movie, but in the prequel. And that'll be Floppy Hat Luke. That'll be this guy here. Yeah, that's Floppy Hat Luke. Now he comes with a big rifle and his binoculars. The binoculars do come off. So Hasbro started to experiment with accessories that you could put on the figure, take them off the figure, give it some more realism. This is just before the Scout Trooper and his holster on his leg as well. So nice feature on this guy is that he does have swivel elbows. So swivel elbows on that Luke, as well as articulation to turn that wrist as well. Floppy hat. Floppy hat comes off, goes back on. Now, in the movie, you never saw floppy hat, so you might be like, well, why does Luke come with the floppy hat? Well, he came with it in a deleted scene, so they released that Behind the Magic CD-ROM, DVD-ROM, whatever you want to call it, and it has a scene with Biggs Darklighter and Luke talking, and Luke's got the floppy hat on. Now, that scene is obviously on the special edition of the Blu-rays, so you can see it nowadays, but that was brand new then, and they made the figure so they could give you a reason to buy another Luke Skywalker. So that's that Luke. That's 1999. In 1999, we get a Comtech line of figures. First, we got Episode 1 on the red card back with Darth Maul. We also had a green card back one with the original trilogy collection. And one of them was Luke Skywalker. That'll be this guy over here. Luke Skywalker comes with this T-16 Skyhopper, which is really neat. It's fully detailed on there as well. It's got a little stand too, so you can sit it down. I keep this one in my big Millennium Falcon as, one of the little accessories stuck in there. It also comes with his kneel tool. So that tool on there where he picks off that restraining bolt on R2-D2 So, and R2-D2 takes off on him, but he pulls it off with that, and he gets the message from Princess Leia. Help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, this figure, swivel arms, but he's got bendable knees for the first time. So, Farm Boy Luke with the bendable knees, and you can have him, you know, sit down and do that full scene with R2-D2 and C-3PO where he gets the message from Princess Leia. So, again, another figure of Luke Skywalker, but comes with accessories, and accessories make it worth purchasing because you can just kind of build your background scene from there. Next figure that we get is 25th anniversary Luke Skywalker from Power of the Jedi line. So they made these 2-packs, basically pre-posed figures. Luke came with Leia. I took the Leia out. Comes on a stand like he's swinging over the Death Star. He does have his Stormtrooper belt there. More realistic look, just to show you on there as well. On the face, on the look of the figure. He's pre-posed, so you can basically... He's got his 5 points of articulation. You can move his waist, you can turn his head, you can turn his arms, and you can move his feet a little bit, but he's basically designed to stay in one pose. Now, I'll turn it around, you can kind of see where that rope is for the grappling hook is jammed in his waist there. So that's tucked away so you don't lose it. And then the rope's nice and long, so I wrap it around his hand there, and then if you know had a scene in the Death Star, you can have him and Leia about to swing over. So that was 2002, Power of the Jedi. Next time we'd see Luke Skywalker after that would be in 2004. They made these special 4-pack in blister cards and paid homage to the vintage figures. And they made them at a premium price with premium articulation. So it was basically the evolution of where Star Wars figures were going to go. That'll be this Luke here. I don't have a loose one to show you, but I do have this one to show you on here. Now he's got cloth goods. Super articulation. So he's got articulation on his knees, on his ankles, on his elbows, on his shoulders, on his waist, everywhere. Ball joint head. He's got everything going for him on this figure. I'm not too keen on the head or the cloth goods, but it was really nice to get Luke Skywalker on that vintage card back. I'm just going to turn that around just to show you the other figures that were there, and they'd show you the original figure of Luke there, and then of course Ben, Han, Leia, and Luke as all the figures you could get. And it says collect all 12 because then they had initially after that they went through the Star Wars ones, and they had the Empire ones with Darth Vader, 3PO, Yoda, and Lando, and then Jedi with Chewbacca, R2, Boba Fett, and Stormtrooper. And of course once you got that, you got hooked, and our expectations from Hasbro were always to get something better beyond that instead of something, you know, worse. The evolution of the action figure. So that was 2004. In 2005, we got an early bird set that was basically paying homage to the original one that came out in Christmas 1977, and Luke was part of that. And they made a 5 points of articulation Luke that had the telescoping lightsaber on his arm. I don't have one to show you in person, but that was the next Luke Skywalker we got in the Farm Boy. After 2005, the next one we got was the 2006 Saga Collection. So that would be this Luke Skywalker here. Now, Luke Skywalker, the Saga Collection was kind of interesting. There's a lot of figures that were just rehashed, or they used parts and they kit bashed figures together. And that's kind of what they did with this one here. He does have swivel. He doesn't, arms underneath here and swivel wrist. He doesn't have the articulated elbow one. But binoculars, of course, are removable. It does have the little, you know, peg on the back of the binoculars, so it's the same binoculars that came with the flashback Luke, but this guy's got nowhere to put it. So he's got nowhere to put it under his tunic there. He does have the articulated knees as well on here, which is really nice. And yeah, that's the Luke Skywalker from the Saga Collection. Now, the Saga Collection Luke also, you know, what they were doing with Luke Skywalker is they have them coming with accessories. So it's the first time we can get them with that poncho, floppy we had before. The face, I just wanted to show you the face sculpt on there. It's darker brown hair and really dark lips. It almost looks like he's got lipstick on. So Luke's a little bit, you know, different looking. Right away you can distinguish that he's a Saga Collection one. And he also came with an accessory, a really neat one, Ben Kenobi's chest. So Ben Kenobi's chest, when he went over to his hut after he met him for the first time, Ben Kenobi popped that chest open. He said, "Your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough." And it's got Ben's lightsaber in there, Luke's lightsaber. It's got the medallion there. And if we look inside here, get some more light on here to show you. If we look inside, we can see some more accessories in there too. So if we look in there, we can see the Jedi training remote. And just above the training remote, there's his breathing apparatus from the prequels. And then there's his headgear too, from when he wore the when he flew the Jedi Starfighter in Attack of the Clones and of course in Revenge of the Sith. And just underneath that, it looks very creased, but I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be his tunic as well in there. So I'm not sure. Maybe that's Anakin's tunic. Not sure. But what's really neat about this is the lightsaber itself. The one that his father wanted him to have when he was old enough actually comes out. It's molded into the plastic and you can remove it. It's such a neat little feature and a total reason to buy this action figure. You see it's got a little peg where it sits in there. So you can actually have Ben giving it to Luke and you can do a nice little diorama. So I, like a lot of people, just bought this Luke Skywalker. Even though I had so many Farm Boy Lukes, I bought it because I needed to have this. So that would be the crowning jewel of that action figure for sure. Okay, so the next figure we get is 2007 30th anniversary line Farm Boy Luke. That'll be this guy here. Now this Luke here, brand new head sculpt. It's on a ball joint as well, with the hair flowing in the wind. He's back on Tatooine. He does have a lightsaber. Lightsabers can attach to his waist. There's a little hole peg that you can stick it on. He also has his regular lightsaber too. Now he has, articulation at the elbow, swivel up and down. Of course, you can bend his elbows there too. Shoulders, wrist articulation as well. Both sides. No articulation on the legs other than just back and forth, but nothing on the knees or on the ankles. But a nice looking Luke Skywalker. And again, he came with his collector coin because it was 30th anniversary. He also came with a nice, neat accessory, a very, very big one. He came with a moisture evaporator. Like, look at the size of this thing. Fully articulated moisture evaporator, like fully detailed. I mean, not articulated. There's no articulation on this thing. But you wonder, how do they fit that in the package? Well, it comes apart in a couple pieces, but definitely a nice, addition there to get something to build your farm. Because later on we get the Owens, the farm as well. So that was the Luke Skywalker we got there. After that, next time we'd see Luke would be in 2009, the Legacy Collection Battle Pack. Now, we got the big Millennium Falcon in 2008, and then they made a Luke Skywalker in a pack to kind of complement it so you can put them in there because they never had a figure out in the stores. And that'll be this guy here. So brand new head sculpt on Luke Skywalker. He does have the same arms, upper body as that 30th anniversary one where you have the swivel shoulder and then, bendable elbows and articulated wrists. So you have all that going there. And then from the waist down here, they took the legs from the vintage original trilogy collection one. And you got ball joints on the legs there, right at the hip, bendable knees, bendable ankles as well. So full articulation finally on a Luke Skywalker. Now there's a little bit of restriction on what you can do with him based on that bottom part of his tunic from the lower part of his waist. It kind of restricts you from doing stuff, even though it's got a slit in there. He basically stands. You're going to warp it if you try to make him sit. You'll have some difficulty, but definitely a nice Luke Skywalker, an update and a favorite too from me. Now, next time we'd see Luke, this guy that's the fallen angel back here, he's been sitting down for a while, is 2011 in the Vintage Collection. So Vintage Collection Luke, this guy back here. We got this guy here. So we got an update to the one that came with the battle pack. And he got a lot, brighter hairstyle. His tunic is a lot whiter. And he has the Stormtrooper belt like that Gunner Station one there. So it's the Death Star Escape Luke, but I still consider him to be Luke Skywalker from Farm Boy Luke. He's still part of my figures in that regard. Now, same thing. So swivel at the elbow, at the shoulders as well, and at the wrists. And, the legs, same thing down here. He's got the bendable knees. It's an identical figure to the Legacy Collection one, except for the Stormtrooper belt and a nice cloth tunic. So they put the cloth tunic on there. He does have a little spot here where you can put the comlink, that he talks to C-3PO when he tells him to shut down all the garbage chutes on the detention level. and R2 and 3PO and R2D2 thought they were dying. So that's a nice little addition on there. And a holster, you can actually put a Stormtrooper gun in there. There's a slot in that holster. So this is the one that I have sitting in my land speeder, so that I have him piloting it because of that cloth tunic. He can put his legs all the way up with no problems in that regard. You can just have him sitting with ease. So that's all the Luke Skywalkers that we got from Hasbro and Kenner over the years. I've counted, 14, I believe, in total. Now I am missing the one that came with the early bird set, so you're not seeing 14 in the picture here. But Luke's gone through a lot of, alterations. I'd love for them to make him again. If I had one complaint with this figure here, it's probably just that the legs are a little bit thin. It'd be nice if they were a little bit, longer or thicker just to match the upper part here, or if they made these arms a little smaller. And I prefer the plastic sculpted robe as opposed to the cloth one. I think it adds a lot more detail in that respect. In 2017, for the 40th anniversary of Star Wars, Hasbro did create a Black Series titanium line of figures. They were original trilogy ones as well as sequel trilogy ones. You could connect the backdrops with the other ones. They all come scene specific with the pose that they're in, with the part in the movie that they were in. This one is another farm boy Luke that we can see here. He does come with a couple of accessories. He has a blaster with a blast effect that's built in there as well as a standard one that's in his holster that I'll show you in a sec. So he comes pre-posed. He's die-cast metal. If I take him out here, you can see the legs are stationary. They do have pegs on the bottom. You can take the pegs out and in, and then choose where you want to place them on the bottom there. Arms have articulation at the shoulders, so there's a swivel at the shoulder joint there, and as well as the hands. The wrists are rotating as well. So that's the movement that he has. His head's on a ball joint. Now the paint job on the face is not the greatest. You can see the paint applications on the heads weren't very good. Probably another reason why this line wasn't too popular. I like him for the backdrop and for the accessories. You can see there on the belt, he's got the E11 blaster stored away. And then you can just choose where you want to put them. Like some of these things line up, some of them don't. I found a spot where I like to keep them. You have the choice of the Death Star backdrop, or if you flip it around, you can also flip this thing around and use this as your backdrop here. It's like a foil card back with a profile picture of Luke Skywalker, his X-Wings, and then him standing in the sunset, and then Lars homestead over here. So really cool. And you can connect these with the other ones that you buy and make a nice scene. So that's the last Farm Boy Luke that we got. That was in 2017. So the next time we'd see Luke Skywalker, we'd see a Farm Boy Luke in 2019 as part of the retro collection. So this guy here, and it's basically just the redo of the original one. They stuck these retro stickers on there. I'm not too keen on them, but it is what it is. It's on there. It's nice to have Luke again. It looked really good in the store, and you may or may not like the weathering on the card back here. I don't really mind it. It's nice to have a carded vintage Luke Skywalker. He's not exactly the same. They just basically took the same figure, and I think if you compare them, they're not even the same height in that regard. I just show you the back here so you can see the other figures that came out as well. They're going to be having some for Empire this year as well, which is nice. And it'd be nice if we can find them easier in the stores, and it'd also be nice if these card backs were not as flimsy and bendable. They tend to warp very, very easily. So that's all the Lukes that we got in the 3 3/4 inch collection to date. We also have, I brought out the Black Series one. So they released the Black Series one. He came out in a Black Series box, as well as 40th anniversary card back like this one here, large 6-inch ones, a few years back, 2017. And then he also came with the Land Speeder as well. So Land Speeder came out in San Diego Comic-Con as well as a regular release, and they were slightly different in the tunic quality of the fabric. So that's him there. It'd be nice to get him now with all the, face scan technology that they have. It'd be nice to get an updated version of him where he looks more like Luke than here. He kind of looks dated as a result compared to all the new stuff that they have. But definitely a really nice figure if you're a Black Series fan or if you're a Luke Skywalker fan to have in your collection. He's very easy to find in that respect as well. It hasn't been too long since we've seen him. So that's it for my Luke Skywalker Farm Boy. Hope you guys liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I look forward to making more videos. Have a great day.